The FIRE movement, what is it all about? It's financial intelligence, but it starts with one thing. If you want to be a part of the FIRE movement and create financial independence in your life, it starts with this one thing, and that's what we're going to talk about on today's show. Let's dive into it. Hey everyone, I am Clayton Morris, longtime real estate investor, and I've devoted my life to trying to helping other people build financial freedom, build financial intelligence. So when I started to see all of this discussion about the FIRE movement over the past year or so, or even over the past few months, it's actually become more of a fevered pitch lately. I wanted to dive in and talk about what the FIRE movement is all about. And there's a bunch of people who are arguing against it, who say, you just cannot do it, it doesn't make any sense, and it is for moochers of the system, etc., etc. So we're going to talk about some of the detractors as well on today's show. And then we're going to get to why I believe there's one thing you need to do to create financial independence. So hang around for that, because we will get to that in a few moments. So for those of you who don't know me or who are new to the channel, please go and hit that subscribe button. That's what this channel is really all about. We want you to take control of your personal finances. We want you to understand your balance sheets. We want you to build financial freedom and live the life that you want. So you could leave your 9-to-5, you can focus on the project that you've always wanted to do, you could build the business you've always wanted to. That's what this channel is all about. And we talk about buy and hold real estate here on the show because that's the way that I've been able to achieve financial freedom. Buying single-family properties, renovating them, and placing tenants in those properties. That's been my secret sauce. You can do it any number of ways, and we're going to talk about that on today's show. So, what is the FIRE movement? I had a lot of people asking, well, I never heard of this FIRE movement. What is it? Well, it's a new hot buzzword, and basically it's just financial independence. Understanding financial independence and sort of separating yourself from the economy the way that we now understand it to be. And there are three main areas of the FIRE movement, three basic tenets of it. Number one is just early retirement. So maybe people leaving the workforce in their 30s and 40s. So early retirement is a big part of the FIRE movement. Number two in this list is financial self-sufficiency. Not having to rely on a paycheck. Not having to rely on your W-2 income from an employer. Self-sufficiency. Can you build financial self-sufficiency? That's the second part of the FIRE movement. The third is to have free time and to be able to travel and live the life that you've always wanted. So those three pieces really make up the FIRE movement at its core. And it's to get rid of that job, carve out more free time in your life, and have money coming in every month that you can live financially free and travel the world. So what's wrong with that? Why is there this, big backlash from the mainstream media and sort of media figures that don't know what they're talking about? Well, I believe it's because they're arguing from the wrong place. They're arguing from, to me, a defeated paradigm. So for instance, Susie Orman. You all know her, financial guru. She's got plenty of books. She's got a TV show. And I like Susie Orman. I've never had a problem with Susie. In fact, I read her books years ago. And she wants to help you get out of debt, and it's much the same way that Dave Ramsey does. That's great. She says the FIRE movement is bunk, is garbage, and her argument is because you need $5 million to retire. That in order to live this way in your 30s and 40s, you need $5 million in order to live financially free and to retire. That's her argument, $5 million. But the problem with that argument is that she's arguing from a paradigm that has failed. She's arguing from the idea that you need to put money into a retirement account and funnel as much of your money into a 401k or some sort of another retirement plan and work 9-to-5 job and work for somebody else for many, many years. And then take that money out of that retirement account when you finally hit the age of retirement. And you would need about $5 million in order to do it when you're in your 30s. That's simply not true. It's true if you believe that the way to build wealth is to work a 9-to-5 job and work for somebody else as a paycheck employee, sit in the highest tax bracket, buy a house that you live in and pay a huge mortgage, and put a fraction of your money into some bunk 401k retirement plan. She's right if that's what you believe. But she's wrong if you pay attention to this channel and this show and you understand that there's another way to build wealth, which we'll get to in just a few moments. And we'll talk about the one thing, the one way, first of all, that you need to get started with carving out the FIRE movement and financial independence in just a moment. Well, what are some of the other arguments right now against the FIRE movement? These are some of the main common arguments against the FIRE movement. Number one, that quitting the workforce in your 30s and 40s simply isn't an option for the typical worker. What is that based on? That quitting the workforce in your 30s and 40s isn't an option. But I don't believe that's what the FIRE movement is asking you to do. So if you have a job and you're in your 30s and you're making a good salary, looking at your life and all of the ways in which you're wasting money, if you cut out those extraneous things in your life, you could probably start your own business and slowly move from that paycheck into owning your own business, which could produce monthly cash flow for you. And you'd be in a lower tax bracket. And you get the benefits of being able to move your money out of your retirement account and have it work for you in a self-directed account and buy real estate. So this argument that 30s and 40s, you simply can't do it because you have too many expenses and it would just be too hard, that's garbage. I think there may be some truth to people absolutely getting in over their heads with debt. They've got massive student loan debt. They've got a mortgage that they saddle themselves with. In that situation, well, that's not what we're really arguing here. I don't want you to do those things. In fact, I have a video coming out where we're going to talk about college and whether or not it's worth it. Is the ROI on college even worth it? But getting that home that you live in, as you know, if you watch my videos here on the channel, the home you live in is the worst investment you can make because it's taking money out of your pocket. So if you are one of those people saddled with all of those things, then we need to do a deeper dive. And perhaps you might even be a perfect candidate to join our Financial Freedom Academy because now you're saddled with all of this debt and you're working for somebody else and you're in the highest tax bracket. You're really behind the eight ball. The second thing that they argue against the FIRE movement is that people are mooching off of the system. That just as quitting work may be a boost financially, they're quitting their jobs and now they're able to mooch off of the government in the form of food stamps and other things. Now, I don't know that that's true. I don't know that people who are tied into the FIRE movement are just saying, I'm not going to do anything and I'm just going to mooch off the government. I'm going to sit at home every day and just play Xbox and that's how I'm going to live my life. That's not, to me, what the FIRE movement is all about. Okay? The FIRE movement really is encouraging entrepreneurship. And it's trying to get you to live financially independent and build something. A business that can produce monthly cash flow for you. It can also employ other people. So the mooching thing, if that's true, that's horrible. No one wants people mooching off of the system, sitting around doing nothing. I want people who are going to be able to give back and create jobs and who are going to, like I just got off the phone here just a few minutes ago with one of our contractors. I've got a team of about 8 people that I'm paying right now renovating a property. So creating jobs, helping the economy move forward. And it's not just those contractors working on that property. It's the people that had to mill the lumber, cut the drywall, build the faucets and build the kitchen vanity or the bathroom vanity that we're putting into this property and helping stoke that economy in that way. So that's the second argument, that people are mooching off of the system. That may or may not be true. I don't see any evidence of that. The people in the FIRE movement are sitting around just playing Xbox all day. Number 3 is that it's too hard. The frugality of it all is just too hard. Now, I did see someone in the chat earlier saying that it was very difficult because I was living like a hobo. Now, I don't know who wrote the rules on how frugally you have to live, but I want to give you some rules on how to live frugally. Number 1, rent the place you live in. Try to avoid a massive amount of debt in the form of something that's taking money out of your pocket. So when you live when you have a mortgage on a property you live in, money is going out every month. As Tom Wheelwright likes to point out, performing assets are those things that put money in our pocket every month. You can argue with us till the cows come home. You will be wrong and you will lose this argument. The home you live in is not an asset, unless, of course, you're house hacking, you're splitting up the property, someone's renting from you. Yes, I get that argument. But avoiding those big things. We right now are in a process of downsizing. And I can guarantee you, I mean, every day, Natalie and I are putting out donations right now for our local veterans group. We're trying to clean out all of this stuff that you accumulate. And we've only been married about 9 years. But you just have random stuff in storage rooms. Americans have all these storage facilities. No other country has these storage facilities. So we're renting storage facilities for our extra crap that we don't ever use, we don't ever touch. You can stop buying all of this additional stuff. And that's where it brings me to the number one way to get started with building financial intelligence, and that is to find your freedom number. So we have our freedom number cheat sheet. I don't know how many of you have downloaded it. If you haven't, we have it. It's for free. It's like 3 pages. It's a PDF. You can just go to morrisinvest.com/freedom or just download it in the link below to check it out. But what we would want to do is the number one thing you need to figure out is your expenses, okay? What is coming in and what is going out. That is how you get started building financial freedom. You must know this. So Susie Orman throwing out $5 million as an argument is bunk because she doesn't know what, your finances look like. She's just making a blanket statement about the way in which we think we need to live. It's garbage. So in the Freedom Number cheat sheet, what we teach you to do is to figure out what are your monthly expenses. And we want you to be meticulous about this. So even if you don't download the cheat sheet, I don't care. I want you to try to do this. I want you to sit at home tonight, or over the next few days, you've got a weekend coming up. And I want you to open up your laptop, your iPad, sit down with your spouse or partner, and I want you to go through all of your monthly expenses. Everything you're spending. I want you to be thorough. So pull out your debit cards, pull out your credit card statements, pull out your bank statements, anywhere where money is being tapped in your family. And I want you to start to look at that every month. And I like to do this once a year. Natalie and I just did this again recently, and we discovered all of these ridiculous charges for software and things that we weren't even using. Things that I hadn't used for a year or more. And guess what? It was charging us like $20 a month. But because it was buried, we weren't paying attention to it. That's how it happens. So take 6 months of these charges. So print out 6 months of these statements and don't include the holidays. So avoid Christmas time. So maybe take them from, May up until November, okay? Get 6 months of those expenses. And then I want you to look at patterns. You'll start to see patterns emerging here. Like, wow, we are eating out a lot. What if we started eating at home more? Is that living frugally? No, that's being smart. I have a friend who told me he eats out every night, and that's why they can't afford to do other things because they spend so much money on eating out. So, and imagine the weight you put on from just eating these big portions in restaurants, right? That's a twofer, right? You're going to save money and actually probably lose weight because you're going to eat at home. You're going to start to see patterns emerging in these numbers. And I want you to pay attention to these patterns, but then writing down all of these different services that you're paying for. Are you paying twice for videos? Are you paying, you're paying for Netflix and you're paying for Hulu? Do you need it? Do you ever watch Hulu? Do you ever watch Netflix? Do you need your cable? We cut our cable and we only use YouTube TV, which is like $30 a month for YouTube TV, and we have it connected to our Apple TV, and that's what we use to watch cable, sports, live, anything we want. We want to watch CNN, we want to watch MSNBC, we want to watch Fox News. It's all there, and all of live sports, ESPN, everything is there. Everything we need is right there. We didn't need cable. We were spending $200 a month on that. We cut it. So start to go through this and really see areas where you can trim it down. Those are your expenses, okay? And then what I want you to do is take the average of those 6 months. Taking the average of those 6 months of expenses, what is that number? In the cheat sheet, I think we have it at $5,000 a month. $5,000 a month is the amount of money it takes for you to live your life. Gas, milk, groceries, your internet, your electricity, all of those things. What are your monthly expenses look like? Well, once you understand that number, is it $5,000? Then, Susie Orman, you don't need $5 million to live your life. You need $5,000 a month coming in every month as cash flow to live the rest of your life. Once you understand that becomes your freedom number. Right? For me, then I took it a step further in the Freedom Number cheat sheet, which is to figure out how many rental properties it would take for me to have that cash flow every month, right? Bringing in $800 a month, That's like what, 12 properties or so, 11 properties. And then that was my goal, and I went after it. But for you, it might be something else. It might be owning a business. It might be starting your own internet company. It doesn't matter. What is that monthly cash flow going to look like? For instance, we wrote a book. You could write an ebook. It's not difficult. There's a subject that probably you know, right? That you could put pen to paper and write an ebook and generate $1,000 a month in cash flow from Amazon on Kindle. And then write a second book. Now you're doubling it. And now you're making $2,000 a month. You could start an internet blog and start to write consistently about the things you're passionate about and driving eyeballs to your blog and making money. You could start a YouTube channel and making thousands of dollars a month from a YouTube channel about something you're passionate about. It doesn't have to be real estate. But the point is, once you know that number, that is how you can live financially free. So the argument from these FIRE detractors is that, well, no, you need to have something in retirement so that you can live off of that one account. That's the wrong way to look at it. We're not putting money into one account, because when you put money into one account, savers are losers. So the money you're putting in this account is going to be worth less later. And now I'm going to be taking money out of this 401k, and that's what Susie Orman's talking about? No. Having enough monthly passive income coming in every month to cover those expenses, that's the one thing you need to focus on. And it is only important to you. It doesn't matter what your neighbor is doing. It doesn't matter what your parents did. It doesn't matter what other people in your office are doing. It only matters what the numbers show you from your own balance sheets, from your own statements. And you look at that $5,000, do you really need that gym membership that you use once a month that's costing you $230 at Lifetime Fitness? No. I had a gym membership there that I never used. I walk every day. I try to hit like 11 or 12,000 steps and take long walks and just like be out in nature. I didn't need a gym membership. Maybe you do. Maybe you love that. It's very vital to your sanity. Okay? Then keep it. But I'm telling you, when you start going through these expenses, you're going to find key areas that you can cut out immediately. And I would love for you in the comments below this video to please tell me after you've done this process, and I want you to tell me in the comments below what you found that was extraneous spending and what you cut out because of it. Please leave that below. So that is the FIRE movement in a nutshell. There's many other permutations of it. We can get into greater discussions about it. But that in a nutshell is what it's all about. And the one thing you need to do right now to get started is to figure out what your freedom number is. What expenses do you need to cover every month to run your family? That's how you build financial independence. It can be done. I've done it. And so many other thousands of people have done it as well. It is real. It exists. Sorry, Susie Orman. But it is true, and it is here, and it's not going anywhere. So we will see you next time here on the channel.